Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a project using some of the materials from the brand new mystery box. One of the things that was included was 3 of the light grip Cricut mats. I'm using one of those. I'm also using the medium-sized tote bag that came in the box. And I am also going to use the Infusible ink in green that came in the box. And in the Infusible ink box, you get a bag that has your ink sheets. And in this case, there's 2 of them. And then you also get a piece of butcher paper. We're going to use that too. Now, as you can see, this is a very light green. But if you look at the box will show you what the color is going to look like after it's pressed. It's actually going to be this much brighter, darker shade. I'm also going to need a lint roller. I probably won't need this weeding tool. I very rarely need tools with Infusible ink. And I have some heat-resistant tape, just so I can make sure that my design stays stuck. And I will be using my Easy Press 3 in the 10 by 12 size. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, this is just a tip. So this is a brand new mat. And having said that, that means that this cover has nothing on it. It's just clear. I can't tell you how many times I've lost them, dropped them on the floor, slipped, about broke my neck. So now, when I first open up a new mat, I grab a sticker, which I usually have plenty of because I make them for my granddaughter. Now, if I could just get the sticker started, that would be amazing. Anyway, I usually grab a sticker and I stick it to that cover, and that makes that cover much easier for me to find. And it also makes sure that I put the right side of the cover back on the mat when I'm done. Okay, now I did this in 2 pieces. I wanted to test my settings and make sure that my settings were good. I cut this on the brand new Explore 5 series machine. And for settings, I used the Infusible ink sheet setting, and I told it to use more pressure. I think it probably would have worked okay just using the default pressure. But I chose more just to make sure, and then I cut out these little extra shamrocks so I could make sure that it was cutting properly. And now this is what my sheet looks like. One of the pieces of advice I can give you, make sure your hands are very clean. Don't put lotion on and then start messing with Infusible ink. Oils from your hands, lotions can get on this ink sheet and then make it not transfer properly. So what I usually do is I just kind of bend my mat and bend it away from my project to get my project off of the mat. And that way I'm not curling up my material. Although in the case of Infusible ink, it's already pretty curled up. Okay, and then we are going to put our cover back on right away so that we can keep our mat clean longer. Okay, now to weed Infusible ink, this is different than weeding vinyl. You're not going to use weeding tools as a rule. This weeds off pretty easy just by hand. And what you want to do is you just want to kind of roll it and then maybe roll it this way. What you're doing by doing that is you're just kind of cracking these cut areas apart from each other to make it weed easier. And then I'm just going to go over to the front on a corner. And Infusible ink, like iron-on, does need to be mirrored. But Design Space does that for you automatically now, as long as you have selected Infusible ink as the project or the product that you're cutting. It will do the same thing for iron-on. Now, as you can see, just like iron-on, it weeds pretty easy, but it's paper, right? So this isn't a soft, flexible, plasticky kind of thing like iron-on is. This is more like It's kind of more like cardstock, really. So it's a little stiff. And it can be a challenge to weed. If you watched my last video, you'll see exactly what I mean. Sometimes if your setting's not right, or your blade's getting a little bit dull, it won't cut through like it's supposed to. I'm going to tear these pieces off just to make this a little bit less cumbersome. It won't cut all the way through, and it will make weeding it a real bear. But see, as you can see, that all cut off perfectly clean. Now let's go work on the rest of this. The important thing to remember when you're weeding this out, that was satisfying. As long as, if you have something left that you don't want, you know, like if something didn't tear away cleanly, as long as what's left doesn't have color still on it, it's fine. It won't transfer. And I did show that in my last video. See how easy that weeded up? All I did was bend it a little bit and the piece just popped right up so that I could grab it. Okay, now we have it all weeded. There is nothing to weed out of this little K right here. And I'm double checking my design just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And it looks good. Okay, so the next thing is to take out, no, actually the next thing is to figure out our heat settings. Okay, so I'm using the Easy Press 3, but I'm just going to set my heat manually. I've told it I'm going to use Infusible ink transfer sheet, and I'm going to put it on a tote bag. And it's telling me to do 385 for 40 seconds, which just so happens to be what my press is set at. But to set that, I would go up here to this and make sure that my temperature is the right thing, and then go up or down if needed. And you can do the same thing over here for your time. Since that's right, now we can go ahead and open our tote bag up. I love these tote bags. They're made out of polyester, so they're super lightweight, and they take sublimation amazing. Okay, now when working with Infusible ink or sublimation, and one of the things you should always do just for safety is to put a piece of paper inside your garment, like inside your short, or in this case, a tote bag, just in case your ink were to bleed through. You want to make sure that it doesn't bleed through to the other side. Okay, and then the other thing we always do is we always lint roll. Sublimation, iron-on, it doesn't matter. You want to get the lint out of the way, because if you don't, what you're attaching your sublimation or iron-on to is lint. And in the case of sublimation, that means when you wash it, it'll fall off. Okay, now that's done. Now while I'm waiting for my Easy Press to heat up, this is a firm pressure product. When I have anything that requires firm pressure, I usually just use a wooden cutting board as my pressing surface. And I'm going to make sure that these little handle tabs are up above the edge of my cutting board, so that when I press down, these aren't keeping my press from being flat. Okay. Now, one of our little stars fell off, so let's see if we can figure out where that came from. Oh, right here. Just like that. And I think I actually want to use one of these ones that I had cut out for my demonstration. And I think I'm going to put it kind of right here in the middle. Now that's something else you could do. We could have done two different colors here, and then we could puzzle piece it together so we could press it all at the same time. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over and try to get it lined up the best I can. I'm just going to kind of eyeball the top. But I grabbed a ruler, and I'm going to use that to measure my sides. I am Little less than 2 inches from the edge on that side, and about 2.5 from this side. So I obviously need to scooch it over. My top looks pretty even. Okay, now I am about, not quite 2.5. Not quite 2, moved it too far. This would have been easier if I had trimmed my paper. Okay, about 1 3/4 on that side. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm just going to pinch the top a little bit. Okay, that still looks good. All right. Now let's check. A little bit over 2. And a little bit over 2. Gosh, see, that was so much easier. I should have just done that to start with. Now, you don't usually need to tape this down, but because my design is kind of close up here at the top, I'm just going to add a little piece of tape. I think I'm going to add a piece of tape here too. Okay, now we're ready to go. You should also grab a piece of butcher paper and set it on the top of your design. And then I'm going to set my press down gently and make sure that I'm not sitting on any seams. And then I'm just going to push the go button and I'm going to lean on it. Firm pressure does not mean standing on your press, nor does it mean putting all of your body weight into it. Just leaning on it is usually plenty. Longest 40 seconds of your life, right? Okay, and you want to make sure that you lift this straight up. If you were to move it around, it could cause your design to leave a ghost print, and that would be bad. I'm going to gently peel off this. Okay, so normally you should let this cool, but I can kind of see how my piece is already lifted up a little bit. So I think I'm going to grab this and just peel it off so I don't end up with any ghosting. Oh, look at that. See, didn't that turn out nice? Okay, let's take our piece out. As you can see, there is 0 ink on my sheet. I've never had it bleed through, but I like to be safe instead of risking ruining a good piece of material or a shirt. But isn't that a cute little tote bag? I love it. I think you'll be really happy with this particular mystery box. It's got a lot of great stuff in it, and this is just one of the many things you could make with it. Hope you enjoyed. Happy crafting.